Hi, everyone. Welcome back to MudTalks Real Estate. This is episode 5 with Nick Amlin. We're going to be talking about auctions today. Before we get into it, Nick, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sir. I'm excited to be here.
Yep.
But like you said, my name is Nick Amlin with Amlin Auctions. We're a family-owned auction company in Holland, Ohio. We mostly specialize in selling real estate at auction. We do a little bit of everything, though. We sell vehicles, commercial, residential. We do storage unit auctions. We do a ton of charity auctions. You name it, we've probably sold it. We do a little bit of everything. It's me, my father, and my brother, Greg. So we're all actually licensed at 3 different real estate companies, but we all work underneath that Amlin Auction umbrella, and I'm sure we'll probably touch on that a little bit later on. But my mom and dad started our company in 1996. So yeah, we've been going ever since then, and life's great. I love it. It's a fun business to be a part of for sure.
Your parents started the company?
Yeah. So my mom and dad actually started the company in 96. They were both they started at Cavalier Amlin Auctions at Cavalier Realty.
Okay.
They ran their auction company, and then when Cavalier went out of business, they decided to go to different brokerages, so they didn't have all their eggs in one basket.
Okay.
So my mom went to Remax Preferred, and my dad went to Danbury Realty, Danbury Company, and he runs their auction department still.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my mom passed away in 2016, so my brother and I stepped into her role, and then when I first got licensed in 2016, I went to Remax Preferred, and my brother and I worked there together.
Okay.
And then after a while, we just kind of wanted our own pond, so I decided to go to Key Realty. So I'm at Key Realty, my brother's at Remax Preferred, and my dad's at Danbury.
Nice. So you guys are spread out.
We try to be.
Yeah, very nice. Diverse.
It works good because, then we're all kind of working our own people, our own pool, and we're not stepping on each other's toes and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. Now you guys still do a lot of work together. Like everything's still together.
We all work together.
Yeah.
If you call my dad, you'll still get me and the Key deal. Obviously, we're working together. But yeah, we're all under that umbrella, and we work together and play together, and it's all
nice.
fun.
Nice. It sounds like fun, and it's a family oriented business. So that's awesome. Yeah.
And we're super blessed and lucky.
Yeah.
That, we fight all the time, but we get over it.
That's normal.
We have
that's
so
normal.
much fun together, though. And it's just awesome being able to pick up the phone and call them for questions and advice. And some days Greg and I are working together the entire day. Sometimes it's my dad and I. Sometimes I'm all alone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you get to work and hang out, like everything's together. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
So when it comes to these auctions, one of the main things that I get back feedback from people is, auctions are only for foreclosed homes, and that's one of the main things I hear. But auctions are not just for foreclosed homes.
Yeah, so we don't do any foreclosures. We don't do any.
Wait, you don't even do foreclosures?
No, we don't do any foreclosure auctions. We don't do any short sales. So the only difference really between an auction and selling your home traditionally is more or less the speed of it. We are an accelerated marketing plan is what an auction is defined as, and we basically level the playing field for everybody, and then we obviously use competitive bidding to drive the price up. But we sell all of our homes as is, and they're not sold subject to inspections, financing, or appraisals.
Now, so very different than the traditional putting it in an offer.
That is the biggest
inspection.
difference. They aren't foreclosures, though. It's basically just an accelerated thing. We're going to level the playing field. We're going to get everybody to compete against each other at one time, one place, and then try to get as much money as we possibly can. So it really it cuts out a lot of the inspection issues. It cuts out the financing issues. It cuts out a lot of the deals falling apart. Stuff like that. So it's just a quicker way to do it. It's definitely not foreclosures. A lot of people think that.
Yeah.
The word auction has such a negative connotation, but it's really not. More times than not, they bring the most money, and it's the quickest way to sell a home.
There's a whole school that.
So they actually say that Ohio is the hardest state to get your auctioneer's license in. So, so I graduated high school. So if you're going to sell real estate at auction, obviously, you are going to need a real estate license and an auctioneer's license. I have to have both. The Ohio's with the real estate license with the Department of Commerce, and then my real estate license is with the Department of Agriculture down in Columbus. Okay. So
wait, auctioneer's license, you mean?
Yeah, my auctioneer's license.
Okay.
Did I say real estate?
You did. Yeah. So the first one was real estate. Okay, got it.
The auctioneer's with the Department of Agriculture. So so I graduated high school in 2016.
Okay.
I got my real estate license in July of 2016, and then I went to auction school actually in December of 2016. So I tried to knock it all out as quick as I possibly could. But yeah, I went to auction school. It's called Reppert's Auction School in Indianapolis, Indiana, is where I went.
Okay.
And my class was it was 12 days long. We went to class from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. believe it or not. It
Oh.
was all day. It was so much fun, though.
Yeah.
In that period, they teach you, all the laws. They teach you how to bid call. They teach you your chant. You do tongue twisters, number drills. You do the whole nine. So it's a long 2 weeks, but it's a great week. It's a great time. You make some of the best friends you'll ever meet. But once you go to auction school, you actually go down to Columbus and you take your apprentice auctioneer's exam. So that's a 100-question exam.
Okay.
And I believe you have to get 70% correct on that one. Once you pass that exam, then you're an apprentice for 12 months underneath a sponsoring auctioneer. Okay, so my father obviously was my sponsoring auctioneer. So in those 12 months, though, I work underneath him.
Okay.
He has to be on all of my auction advertising. He basically has to make sure I don't do anything bad or wrong or anything like that, break any rules. Once my 12 months is up, then I have to go back down to Columbus. I have to do a written exam, the full-blown auctioneer's exam, and then I have to do a verbal exam in front of the board of commissioners for the auction.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it's a lot. It's a long process. It takes start to finish. By the time you go to auction school, you're looking at over a year and a half all day.
Okay.
So it's a long process.
What specific regulate what could you break? What could you do wrong?
There's just a lot of it's going to be like advertising and stuff. We have to do things our own. We have to do things differently with advertising the types of auctions and stuff like that, with our terms and conditions and all that kind of stuff, and the earnest money deposits, and then as well as doing the personal property auctions and stuff like that. There's rules there.
What about the tongue twisters and what about that part of it?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty funny. When I signed up for auction school, they literally mailed me a CD. And the CD had 15 tongue twisters on it. And basically what you do when you're learning to become an auctioneer, it sounds so funny, but you start with tongue twisters, and the auction chant itself is it'll be you're saying a number and then what they call a filler word. Okay. So my filler word, for example, is would you give me? But instead of saying would you give me, I'm would he give me? So 20, would it get 30? Here, would it get 30? Get 5, it'll be 35 now. 40 here, would it get 40? Get 5. So you kind of build from there. So the tongue twister that I base my chant off of is called Betty Botter. So I could kind of do it for you.
Yeah, please.
It's so funny to be on the spot right now. But, so it goes, Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter, better, made her bitter, better, better. So it's better. Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. So you kind of, yeah, exactly. It's fun though. So, yeah.
Ouchies. Wait, dude, that was long. That's not like a small tongue twist. That's super long.
So yeah, it's like a full paragraph. So yeah, you get that and you go, Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said the butter bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter, better, made her bitter, better, better. And then you switch the tongue twister words out with numbers, and then before you know it, you're at 30, but it get 30, get 5, a little bit 40, here, but it get 40, get 5, 5, 5, here, but it get 40, get 5, and you kind of go up from there, and that's how it happens, And,
that's crazy. That's how many tongue twisters were on there?
There's probably 10.
How many do you remember?
Oh man, probably most of them, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah, there was a rubber baby buggy bumper, stuff like that. Around the rough and rugged rock, the ragged rascal ran, stuff like that.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, there's a ton, and a lot of auctioneers just they pick one of those tongue twisters and end up basing their chant around it.
Gotcha.
You kind of pick up on that rhythm more or less, and once you get it down, you kind of more or less, just kind of wing it.
Did you have to memorize all? Did you practice all of them?
So at auction school, the whole class would stand up and we would all do Betty Botter together.
That sounds nerve-wracking, by the way.
It is. It is, but it was so much fun, and I'd go back to auction school in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great. But when you first show up, nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
You just kind of the tongue twisters, but you don't really know how to bid call, and you pick up on it over a couple years, and the more you do it, the better you get, I guess.
So you pick your whatever, I guess you flow with the best, and then you do your stuff around that kind of rhythm.
Well, yeah, you just kind of pick up your rhythm. Every auctioneer sounds completely different. My dad, my brother, and I, we are all 100% different bid callers.
Okay.
We're not even close to sounding the same. We all have different rhythms, different pitches, different everything.
Okay.
Start to finish. So it just kind of happens, I guess, is the best way to say it. But yeah, a lot of practice and some time, and you get it down.
When you're doing your numbers and somebody else, are you keeping an eye out on who else is getting into the mix there?
Yeah, so
or how do they indicate that they want to be a bit higher?
Yeah, that's the tricky part of it. I mean, the hardest part about bid calling is remembering who you have in and what you have them in at. So I got 25 here. I'm looking for 30, and you got to kind of scan the whole room. I mean, some people will bid by just lifting their head a little bit. Some people raise their hands. Some people raise their bid card. Some people make it super obvious. I have people that'll just wink at me, and they just make it real. And sometimes you gotta clarify, say, hey, was that a bid? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you got to remember, I got 25 here. Able to get 30 here. I got 30 now. Fine. 30 here. 35. You want to go 35 now? 40 there. Able to get 40 now. Fine. 40 now. Fine. Out of here now. And you got that's the hardest part's remembering where you're at.
Yeah.
But once you get it down,
and so you have to maintain that you have to maintain that.
Oh, yeah.
While you're looking for the next bid
and
you're scanning the room.
Oh, yeah.
Like it seems to be a lot going on.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on, but it keeps you on your toes. Keeps you.
So if there's a large amount of people, are there usually people to help you out with that?
So
to make sure
what we have is
it's
called a ring man. So obviously when I'm bid calling, my dad and my brother are my ring man. Ring men. So we do like the large charity auctions. We'll have 500, 600, 700 people in the room. I'll have, for example, my brother in the way back of the room, my dad more towards the front of the room, and then I'll be on the stage. Or vice versa. My dad auctioning, obviously. So they kind of help catch the bids. So if they see somebody in the back corner that I didn't see, they'll yell "yep" for me, and then I'll take that bid, and I'll say, I got 1,000 on Greg, and then just keep going in, and I have Greg in, but Greg has somebody else in.
Gotcha. So, yeah.
They really help you out.
How long did it take you to get used to? So you're done with school, and like, do you jump right into like?
So
how does
it's actually funny. I went to auction school. It was December of 2016, and once I got my apprentice exam, you have to be an apprentice to legally bid call. And I got back from auction school. It was a Sunday, and we had a charity auction on Friday, that following Friday. And, I mean, there was 600 people there. It was, and my dad was actually like, hey, Nick, come on, get up on the mic, and, like, in front of the crowd. And, I mean, I was 18 years old, so I was like, about to pass out.
Yeah.
And actually my first item I ever sold was LASIK eye surgery at a charity auction to a room of 600 people.
What?
And I sold it for like, I think it brought like $3,300.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my God.
Yeah, you just kind of, trial by fire.
Yeah.
It's once you do it, I mean, I don't really get nervous in front of crowds as much anymore, but when you first start out, there's a ton of nerves there. We do all the auction competitions and stuff like that, the Ohio Auctioneers competition and stuff.
I know nothing about this, so I need you to explain this. What is this?
So it's a ton of fun. So we're members of the Ohio Auctioneers Association and the National Auctioneers Association. So those each state has their own convention, and then at the convention they have an auctioneers competition. So any auctioneer can sign up to bid call in there. For Ohio, it's very, very rigorous. I mean, there's tons of competitors. They take it very, very serious, and you have a panel of 5 judges. You bring 2 items to sell to the crowd that's there, and then they judge you on I think there's 16 categories that they judge you on now. I mean, your poise, your salesmanship, your bid calling, your chant, your rhythm, your speed, your posture. If I got you in at 25, I want to have you in at 25 here. I don't want to point at you, and they take that into account. You'll get docked points if you point.
What?
Oh yeah. It's
I knew nothing of this. This is the first time ever hearing of this.
Sometime go online. You can look up like the International Auctioneers competition. Auctioneers competition, and that's huge. There are some amazing bid callers on there.
I gotta see this. So wait, you guys have gone to these?
So we haven't competed in the International Auctioneers competition. Greg and I compete every year in the Ohio auction competition, though. So
is that fun?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's it's pretty nerve wracking though, because bid calling in front of 500 or 600 people is one thing, but if I mess up in front of 500 or 600 people that aren't auctioneers, they don't really necessarily know that I messed up, because I could just kind of fix it real quick. But if you mess up in front of a room full of auctioneers, they know that you messed up. So,
the biggest critiques.
Definitely. So it's fun, and I mean the auctioneer community, some of the best people I've ever met in my life. We have some of our best friends are auctioneers on the other side of the state, and I mean they're awesome people, and if something happened and we needed some help, they'd drop everything and drive across the state to help us, and we do the same for them, and they have, auctioneers it's a big family, and it's an awesome one.
That's awesome. The 2 items that you have to bring in and sell. Like what did you do that one or no?
What did you
bring?
What did I bring? We usually so they'll hold like the auction at the competition at like Easton Mall and stuff like that. So we'll actually kind of make it a competition. Greg and I will go out and buy our items the day of. Okay. But you have to sell them to the crowd before you bid call. So you go up there and. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, judges. My name is Nick Amlin from Toledo, Ohio, and I'm your contestant 16. I got 2 wonderful items to sell for you. And you have to really like sell it to them. And I can't remember because the competition was just in January. I forget what I sold already, but I think I sold an Ohio State sign and like a Gerber knife set or something along those lines. But you bring like $20 to $60 items just to kind of chant.
Yeah.
So.
Do you actually sell the items though?
Oh yeah.
So like it's a legit.
It's a live auction, and all the money raised goes to charity.
That's awesome.
So it's cool. So the 2 items you bring are just donated items, basically. So but it's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's great.
It sounds like fun, but also more nerve-wracking than doing a regular auction, where, like you said, people
the competition's
don't know,
pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a good time down there.
Yeah. I like it. Anything else you want to?
I think that pretty much covers everything. It's a fun business. I love every day of it. I wake up and love to go to work, and
that's a good feeling. I just had Jordan from Erie Inspections, and he was telling me the same thing, how he loves his job. I absolutely love my job. I've had a lot of job changes. I've done a lot of things in my life, and I'm finally in a place where I'm super happy. Yeah. It is beautiful to find what you love to do and get to do that every day.
Yeah, and I've worked every single aspect of the auction. I mean, I started out doing concessions at our contents auctions.
Okay.
We called it Nick's Snack Shack, and I sold hot dogs. I was 13 years old, and
wow.
Oh yeah, and I used to clean out houses all the time when I was in high school, and I'd get off of school and they'd have a dumpster delivered to a house, and I'd go in and bag everything up and throw it away, and I set up countless auctions and all this stuff. So I've worked every aspect of it, and it's just been a blast the whole time.
You've been in or around auctions all your life.
My gosh, my parents would pick me up from school and take me to that night's auction, and
wow.
I'd hang out in the corner. I was but that's what we did, and it worked. It was awesome.
And so you've heard that voice, that auction voice, since you were very young.
Oh yeah. Well, they started in '96, and I was born in '98. So
okay. Oh my God. Yeah.
I've been around it since the day I was born. I've been around it.
Yeah. Very nice. Have you ever has anybody ever taken your voice clips and done anything else with it?
I don't think so. Not that I know of, at least.
Let's try and make that happen.
I know. Well, I've seen the people where they take like an auctioneer's bid calling, and then they put like the rap beat.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like,
I've seen those videos, but nobody's ever done it for me.
Oh man, I can't wait to see what happens.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. So a little stressful to be in an auction, like to be there for it, depending on how many people show up. And from what I've seen lately, there's a lot of activity going on there, which is all positive things for people who are selling their houses.
Definitely.
So it seems like, especially in this market, everything's very competitive. We have multiple offers coming in on almost any listing. And so there's already a competitive factor there. But the thing about that is you can't disclose how much the other person has offered.
Exactly. And that's like the big thing with auctions is that, a lot of these deals right now are getting the multiple offers, and is this one better because they're getting financing? This one's obviously better because it's cash. This one's this much. This one's that much. This one doesn't have an inspection period. With us, there's no inspections. We're just waving that across the board. You can get financing however you want. If you're unable to obtain that financing, obviously you'd lose your earnest money deposit. And we don't do that to be scary or anything like that. It is a different process, but it really speeds that up, and it kind of it eliminates the people that aren't as serious.
I was just going to say that it shows that a buyer has serious interest if they're willing to put that earnest deposit down and make sure they're serious about buying the home.
Yeah, 100%, and it levels the playing field.
Okay. How long does a typical auction, how does that so say someone comes up to you and like, hey, I want to do an auction for my house. How does that process usually work?
For real estate, we typically advertise for 30 days, and then they have up to 30 days to close after that. So start to finish, you're looking around 60 days.
Okay.
can be a little quicker. Sometimes it is a little longer. For example, if they're trying to get financing or something like that, and it's going to need an extra week, we can do extensions and stuff like that, obviously. But start to finish, the rough estimate's about 60 days with advertising.
Okay. That's with advertising. So we have 30 days advertising, then the actual day of auction, and then 30 days to close.
And then they have up to 30 days after that to close. So it's a quicker process. There's tons of things that go into it as far as advertising and stuff like that. But
so here's a fear some people have: what if I put my house up on the auction and it doesn't get the amount of money that I want?
Exactly.
So what happens then?
We have some safety nets involved. There's three main types of auctions that we can jump into. There's the absolute auction, which means that it's absolutely going to sell to the highest bidder. There's no minimum and there's no reserve. Okay. Now this seems like the scariest auction because there is no safety nets, but obviously, if let's say, for example, 14 people come and 13 of them leave, we're not going to open up that auction with one bidder there, if we don't feel it's going to go well. So we don't have to open up that auction. Once we open that auction up and start calling for bids, at that point, obviously we have to sell it. But 99% of the time, knock on wood, we feel very comfortable going into that. But the other type, which is the probably the most popular auction, is the minimum bid auction.
Okay.
Now that's where we set and we advertise a minimum bid price, and then anything over that price, it'll sell to the highest bidder. So that's kind of the biggest safety net there. So the seller has, they at least know we're going to start at 99,000 and we're going to work our way up from there. So worst case scenario,
they're
I'm
taking
walking
the
99. Exactly. So and then the last type of auction is the reserve auction, and this is where the seller reserves the right to accept or decline the final bid price. So that's probably the least common auction, just because typically it doesn't bring out the crowd that we want. But for some of the commercial stuff, we lean towards that reserve auction, the luxury homes and stuff like that. We can lean
just
on
to
that
make
more.
sure it at least hits a certain mark.
Yeah, so there's definitely there's some safety nets involved. People always hear the word auction and they think, they're going to give my house away, and we never have given a house away. We never will give a house away. We will always feel comfortable heading into it, and
With the reserve, so the minimum bid, let's say the house you want to get at least 75,000 out of the house. You could start at 75,000. With the reserve, is there a starting point, or do you just let the crowd decide where to start at?
With a reserve auction, the crowd will actually start it wherever they end up starting it. With a minimum bid auction, we start at that minimum. So if they wanted 75, let's say we did a minimum bid of 65,000, we'd start at 65 and then go 70, 75, and go up from there.
Okay. What do you guys when listing the home, there's typically the commission fee, which can be whatever percentage is determined by the listing agent. What are your guys' charges for doing an auction?
That's the other big difference with an auction, is that we obviously charge our commission to the buyers in the form of a buyer's premium. So the sellers actually aren't paying a commission directly.
Really?
The buyers pay the commissions. So
yeah. How much is that?
We charge 10% buyer's premium on top of that. So that goes to pay some of the advertising and stuff like that, and then other brokerage fees and everything there.
Yeah. And so when they're doing their bids, is that so their final number, we want to add on, they want to keep in mind, the buyer, whoever's bidding on that whatever their final bid is, it's going to be an additional 10% on top of that.
100%.
Okay.
And we make that very clear.
Yeah.
That's on the bid number when they register on all the terms and conditions. We say it in the opening remarks and all that stuff too.
Okay.
So, we make that very clear, but that is added on to the final bid.
And then that's one of the things that I did notice when we were at the auction, you guys clarify everything right at the beginning. And if there's any questions, at the auction that I went to last, there was 3 of you guys on top of it. Yeah. Like anybody had a question. Yeah. So you guys jumped on it quick and clarified anything that was going on.
Yeah. We try to make it, it's a different process. It's a process that people aren't used to all the time. So we try to make everything, as clear cut, as simple as possible, so everybody's on the same page.
So if I wanted to list my house, or I wanted to go put the house in an auction, I would talk to you guys. Yeah. Do you guys come and take picture?
So we handle everything start to finish. We try to do everything that we do in-house. We have our own drones and everything like that. So we do all of our own pictures, all of our own advertising. We make our own sign. We have a sign cutter at our office. So we try to have everything done in-house. And we're the ones that obviously we do the contracts, the advertising, the paperwork, all that stuff.
Okay. And so you guys market it. You guys do everything there. The day of auction, you guys set up at the home itself. And is the auction only at the home? Is there? So I've seen some online options there. How does that work?
Yeah, there's some different things there. Amlin Auctions, us personally, we like to do all of our real estate auctions, whether it's residential or commercial. We like to do all of that on-site, in-person live auction.
Okay.
The live auction, we feel, just works best. We feel it produces the most money, and it's just the most transparent way to sell. There are online auctions. We typically do online auctions for contents, personal property, stuff like that.
Okay.
Machinery, tools, you name it, household items, stuff like that. But you can do it both ways. We just prefer the live.
Yeah, it seems like there's less room for error, especially if you're in a location that might not have
we
great
want
Wi-Fi.
we want everybody to be on the same page, know what they're bidding on, know what the terms are, and it's a lot harder to do that when somebody's on a computer screen in a different state or something like that.
Gotcha.
And
so you guys also sell other things other than houses?
Yeah, we do storage unit auctions. We do a circuit once a month where like the last Wednesday of every month we go around town and do the storage unit auctions. We go from one location to the next. They're so much fun. I love storage unit auction days.
How do those can you go in and look in what's in there, or do you not know what's in? I don't know anything at all about that.
Have you ever seen the show Storage Wars?
Yes.
Very similar to that. So we go to the unit, we open up the unit. You can't go inside the unit or touch anything inside the unit. Once everybody's taken a look, we sell it to the highest bidder, and they they go right into the office afterwards and pay for it, and it's theirs. They have a certain amount of time to clean out the unit, and then the storage company can resell it to somebody else, or rent it out to somebody else. But they're fun. There's no stress in a storage unit, But I find out exactly what's in the storage unit at the same time everybody else does. That's what I love about it.
It's a surprise for you as well.
Oh yeah, I've opened it up to a Pizza Hut box in the corner. That's it. I've opened it up to trash bags, but I've also opened it up to a bunch of rims. I've opened it up to vending machines, tanning beds. We've seen all kinds of different things. So they're kind of fun.
So do you get the keys from the facility like that day, or like how do you guys open it up? Like
one of the owners of the facilities, they'll or the workers there, they'll walk around with us. They'll unlock the locks as we go. And, we lift it up and sell it.
Do you guys usually do multiple? Because what if you spend all this time and go out to the unit and the pizza box is the only thing there?
It has happened before.
Yeah.
So usually each month the storage company, they'll have 5 to 10 units that they're going to sell, and then we'll do like 5 or 6 different locations in a day. So it's like you have the chance of buying up to 30 units or so, give or take.
Gotcha.
So
do you have regulars on that?
Oh yeah. I mean,
are there any tactics like on searching or looking into a storage unit? Like
I love the storage unit buyers. They're the nicest people ever, and we have I bet 25 bidders regular that come to every single storage unit auction that I have. We have guys that drive from Fort Wayne, Indiana, every single month. They don't miss an auction. They'll be here. Come down from Detroit, but a lot of them, I mean, it cracks you up. So because some of them do have different tactics where it'll be a unit that I think will bring $150. I'll start calling for bids, and they'll just say 200 right out of the gate, just to kind of scare everybody else off.
Yeah,
and most of the time it does. It works. So
nice.
But yeah, no, it's fun.
Everyone has their own tactic.
There's some characters. There's some characters there for sure.
Then, I heard cars in there somehow. How do you? I'm so confused because I'm only under the impression of the houses here. So there's some other stuff coming into play.
Yeah, we do all kinds of stuff across the board. We, my brother and I actually used to work for a car auction company for long before COVID. They switched to online when COVID happened. But we used to sell salvage cars. My brother and I did. So we'd do it for hours a day, and we'd drive to Cleveland, Columbus, Detroit, and it was pretty fun. And then now we do a ton of estate work. So some of the times the attorneys will call us with a state that has a couple vehicles or something like that. So they'll tow them to our parking lot at our office, and then we'll sell them at an online auction and stuff like that. And then we're all notaries, so we can transfer titles and stuff like that.
Nice. So we got the cars, we got the storage. You said household items.
Yeah, so we do like online auctions as well for like personal property. If you come across an estate or something along those lines, we go through. We have our guys catalog everything. We build the catalog at our office. We run that online.
What do you mean
auction.
Catalog everything?
So we go through and take a picture of the table, take a picture of the microphone.
Oh, like everything.
Every item. Oh yeah.
Wait, like you guys got do you guys got a label or?
Oh yeah. So we make a barcodes for each item. So each item gets a barcode. You take a picture of the barcode. You take a few pictures of the item. Then you write a description and a title for the item, and then we run that on our bidding platform for 5 to 7, 10 days.
Okay.
And then people bid on that, similar to eBay. They can go through, and then after the auction, it'll charge the successful bidders credit cards, and then we'll have a date set up for them to come pick up the items.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of work.
Oh, it is. It's fun though. I mean, it breaks things up, and I always say that the the biggest thing I love about this business is that every day I'm doing something different. I mean, Monday I'm in, a tire man shop selling it out, getting it all dirty. The next day I'm cataloging an auction, and then Wednesday I'm at a $1 million house, getting ready to do a real estate auction, and everything in between, so some days I'm in work jeans getting dirty, some days I'm in a suit, some days
switch it up.
And I love that because I'm not stuck behind a desk all the time.
100%. Now, speaking of, are you still doing the videos on Tuesdays?
So we need to get back on that. We kind of fell off a little bit. My brother and I started a weekly video called Tongue Twister Tuesday, and we need to get back on it. We've kind of fallen off of that a little bit, but we got so busy over the summer. Last summer, we were just slammed, and it kind of fell by the wayside. But we got to get back.
Bring it back.
I know.
Bring it back.
I know we do.
The market has shifted over the last 2 years, and we have a lot of people who don't understand where the market is now is in comparison to 5 years ago. Things are drastically different. How has this affected auctions? Have you guys picked up, slowed down?
We've picked up, definitely. We've had, our crowds have just been as big as they've ever been. I mean, they keep getting bigger. We keep getting, repeat customers that are coming out for the investment type stuff. The investment properties are just drawing huge crowds. I mean, knock on wood, we've been firing on all 8 for the last couple years now. And we've been blessed, to say the least. But
do you think has it benefited you then?
Definitely.
The state of the market.
100%. I mean, prices are higher than they've ever been, especially for us. And I mean, auctions are the truest way to tell you what the market value of the home is. So we're selling things for more than we thought they would sell for. Often. And, it's been blessed. So
I the most important part of that is the transparency, because again, when you're going into a multiple offer situation in a typical listing of a home, you can't know what everyone else is bidding, but during that auction, right up front, so and so is willing to pay X amount.
And you're
like,
them.
I'll pay more, you'll pay more, and so you see the value of the home directly in front of these other people who are interested in the home as well.
Well, that, and I mean, there's so much stuff going on now with the escalation clauses and stuff like that where it gets awful shady behind closed doors, and you don't know, did they really have the escalation clause in effect and all this stuff, and we're hearing that more and more, where as with an auction, you're seeing who you're bidding against, because they're 10 foot across the room.
100%.
And you're watching them raise their hand as we chant the numbers.
Just to jump in and defend escalation clauses. Any escalation clause that I've ever put in, I have to see the other bid with whatever.
No, I know, it's just
but I get what you're saying. I 100% do. I just wanted to jump in and defend those escalation clauses. They still work, guys.
and they do work. It's just there's so many different things with multiple offers that one's cash, one's financeable, one waives their inspections and all that.
It seems like an auction's pretty straight up. Like this is what's going on and very transparent. You're literally competing against people in the same room as you, and so you can see them making that competition, whatever it is. So definitely. It's not behind closed doors, which I feel is great. For there are some clients out there who don't like the multiple offer scenario, and we don't control the state of the market. Like we have no control over what the market is, so we're just we're just in it, and so we can give you the best advice, but they don't like not being able to see. And so maybe an auction is a better route for them, where they can actually know what they're competing with, and be upfront about everything, and they know, well, X, so and so's willing to pay X amount, I'm willing to pay more. Okay. And would you recommend people doing an auction as opposed to listing their house? Do you think that brings in more attention now? And obviously we don't know.
It definitely depends on the situation. Obviously I've been pro auctions, since birth, but it depends on the situation. It depends on what they want out of the property. It depends on what they need to get out of the property, kind of their time frame, what they're looking at. We go on appointments sometimes where we just say, hey, you know what? You're probably better off listing this, list it for a couple months with a realtor, try to maybe do a couple price drops if it's not working out. I love the auction method of marketing. It's just clean cut, dry, and quick. And it just, I feel 90% of the time it's going to produce the most amount of money if you do it correctly. But again, it just really depends on the situation. If we go into a property where it's if we feel it's $100,000 house and they owe 95, we're probably gonna say, hey, you might try listing it with an agent at 110 and give it a month or two and see what happens. But my dad always says he doesn't have a magic wand. So it really depends on the situation. But more times than not, an auction can be a great tool. It's a good tool to have.
Okay. And then so for any of the house, I know you said you like to do them in person, but do you do any of the houses online or both, like in person and online?
Yeah, so that's called a simulcast auction. Okay. We don't do any real estate strictly online. We always offer it live. We have what's called a simulcast option. Simulcast bidding means that they can bid live and in person as well as on our app. Let's say, for example, it's an investment property and an investor can't come to the auction but loves that area, has a bunch of houses in that area, stuff like that. They'll be willing to bid online. Excuse me. The issue with that is we are running off of that hotspot, obviously. So it's a great tool to have. It's not a perfect program. It is a great program if, people are concerned about COVID and stuff like that. That's why we implemented that. But obviously, we'd love to have it in person, live. You're seeing who you're bidding against.
There's 100% a different feel when you're in person there. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess it depends who you are as a person and what you like to be around. But it's nice to be in that environment and the transparency, just knowing what's going on. And I love technology. I'm a big advocate of technology, but technology fails at times. So my worry is with the online thing, if you're serious about it and you're trying to
live and in person, yeah.
And
we always recommend that. It's the best way to do it because there is no errors if we're in the same room. You know? And we do offer that simulcast option. And it does work out pretty well. It just kind of depends on the situation.
Gotcha. How long does a typical auction last? I know you guys do like a preview window.
Yes.
Like how does that process?
So 90% of our auctions we hold Monday through Thursday. Most of them are at 5 p.m. We typically do some of the luxury homes on the weekends, Sunday, and stuff like that. It really just depends on what it is. But we always do like a 2-hour preview window. So if the auction's at 5 o'clock, we'll open it up at 3 p.m. That's your preview and inspection period. So if you wanted to bring an inspector, if you wanted to bring a contractor, if you want to bring mom, dad, uncle, that's your time.
They can bring whoever they want to inspect the home.
They want. Yep, they can bring an inspector. That is your inspection period. Whatever your inspector says stays between you and your inspector.
Okay.
So that is your inspection time.
Okay. All right.
So
and that's a 2-hour window?
Yeah, typically it's an hour and a half to 2 hours. It just kind of depends on the property.
Okay.
But yeah, we try to open it up 2 hours before, and then you can come and take a look at the place and look it over and all that stuff. We try to limit the showings. We don't do any showings the day before. We only do showings the day of the auction.
Gotcha.
That preview window.
And then how long does the typical, the auction part of it start?
Yeah, so once it hits the auction time, we do our opening remarks, which usually only takes about 5 to 10 minutes. We don't take breaks during our auction. Some auctioneers do. We don't. We try to start, finish, and call it a day. And so the auction itself takes another 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then we do paperwork. So if we got a 5 o'clock auction, we're probably done bid calling by about 5:15. We got contracts and paperwork done by about 5:30, and
nice.
We're pulling out of there by 5:40.
That's quick.
Yeah,
okay,
we try to
not
keep
bad
it,
at all.
Yeah, we try to keep it as quick and easy as we can.
Do the buyers have to be all cash for auctions?
No, so they can get financing however they'd like. We always just recommend, hey, make sure you have your ducks in a row because we would like to close within that 30-day period. Every now and then we'll get an FHA buyer and something, and if we just know it's not going to go FHA, we'll say, hey, you might want to not think about bidding on this auction and stuff like that. We try to qualify bidders as much as we possibly can, but they can obtain financing however they want. It's just it's not sold subject to that. So if something were to happen and their financing fall through, then they would forfeit that earnest money deposit.
Okay, so they want to make sure everything's in line, and then they have a 30-day period. So it's probably in the best interest of the buyer to be pre-approved, and even better if they could start getting pre-approved specifically for that home.
Exactly. And we always recommend that when they call in, if they're working with a buyer's agent and stuff like that, we say, make sure your buyers are ready to go.
And so, and you guys do 30 days of marketing typically, right? So they have time to reach out to their lender. Exactly. They have time to get that pre-approval and make sure that they're okay there. Here's a question for you, because sometimes the bidding goes way above and beyond. What happens if the house goes above what it appraises for.
So, knock on wood, that doesn't happen often.
Okay.
It does happen every now and then. They would be required to, figure that out, basically.
Gotcha.
It's not sold subject to that appraisal.
Gotcha. So whatever number they're at, if the loan needs to come up to that amount, or they have to get the in between the appraisal gap, as we would say. But okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But that doesn't happen. That's not something that happens too often.
It happens every now and then.
I have to assume that you have to know how much you don't want to bid a ridiculous number on the house either.
Yeah,
so you don't want to go outside of your own comfort zone. Yeah.
I mean, go to where you're pre-approved. And
I was just going to say that there should be an amount that they're pre-approved to anyway.
We always say, hey, come up with that number that you're willing to pay for.
Yeah.
And stop bidding there.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't listen to that, but that's people for you.
Yeah. Emotions will get in the way of logic.
Ego and emotions, plays a huge part. Emotions is such a big factor in auctions. If you're not going to lose it over $1,000. You're not going to lose it over 1 month's rent. Is what they say.
Yeah.
If it's
so it can get competitive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially when you have two people in the room that are both fighting for it, and they're not going to lose.
That's what I was just going to say. It could kind of keep escalating up there.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal for the seller.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get those, you get 2 or 3 people in a room competing against each other, and none of them want to lose. They're going to fight for it.
Yeah.
They're going to pay top dollar.
Yeah. Have you noticed more investors? Like first-time home. I can't imagine. Do you guys get many first-time home buyers?
We get everything across the board.
Yeah,
and that's the beautiful thing with an auction, is that we always say is, depending on the property, you're going to have the investors competing against the owner-occupants, competing against the first-time home buyers, competing against, everybody else that wants to show up to the auction. So you really, you have the best of both worlds. You got everybody coming. It just depends. But yeah, we have first-time home buyers come out to auctions. We have owner-occupants. All kinds of stuff.
Okay, nice. In my head, I always picture a bunch of investors out there. Oh, yeah. Like that's always what I.
Yeah, I mean, the people hear an auction and they get scared, but honestly, it's a pretty easy process once you do it. I mean, the paperwork's pretty simple, and it really just streamlines the whole thing.
Yeah, I was nervous about the whole process myself. Like I'd never been to an auction,
Mm-hmm.
so sitting there and watching everything go down, I'm like, what's happening? It was very simple and straightforward.
Oh, yeah.
It at no point was like was I lost.
Yeah.
The most nerve-wracking part is getting there, getting out of the car, like, what do I do?
Oh, yeah.
And you guys literally have a table set up.
Oh, yeah.
You just check in.
Yep.
And like that's literally it.
Yeah,
so the mostly was anticipation was the nerve-wracking part, but once I was in there, it was like.
And I always tell people, if you're planning on coming to an auction in 30 days, find an auction that we have in between there and just attend it as a viewer. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to go to an auction. You can go in and pretend that you're going to buy it, even though you don't plan on bidding at all. You can fill out a bid number and kind of go through the process because, I mean, obviously it's a different process, but it's not a scary process. I mean, once you do it once, you kind of understand everything, and I always recommend that to people.
I 100% recommend that as well. I just going through that kind of like calm my nerves, and it's kind of one of those fear of the unknown type deals where you're like, I don't want to be in this situation, and then once you're in there, you're like, no, and there's no emphasis on you, so you're scared. I'm gonna go to the auction, and people are gonna nobody cares about you. Like seriously, like they're focused. Everyone's got their own mission, and they're all after the same thing. So, and everyone's super nice. Like it's not like it's not cutthroat. Like we're gonna bid against each other, anything like that. It was a great environment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we try to keep it that way.
Okay, is that primarily what you do? Is the because I know you do a little bit of everything, and do your days just switch like that? Like one day you're doing a house, one day you're doing a car, one day you're labeling things.
I mean,
like
we're all over the place all the time. I mean, we're constantly doing stuff. We our main specialty obviously is real estate, but we do all kinds of stuff. My brother Greg and I are going to be we're going to be cataloging an auction tomorrow just because we got our other guys are on another one cataloging it. So we're all over the place. Some days I'm in the office all day. This morning, for example, I looked at a greenhouse. We're looking at auctioning off a 22 acre with a greenhouse there and farm and stuff like that. Yeah, but I mean we're constantly looking at all kinds of different things.
Is that categorized different? What would a greenhouse go under? Or what's that sold under?
That would be zoning.
Yeah,
agriculture.
Agriculture.
Yeah.
Okay.
The farmland.
And then is that like a business type deal or
so that's a business. They're kind of phasing out of business more or less. So we'll be basically just selling it as.
So you guys do everything.
Oh yeah, we do everything. We sell farmland. commercial businesses. We've sold out all kinds of things. Restaurants, turnkey businesses.
Really?
Yeah, we sold all sorts of stuff over the years. So.
Okay, no, that's phenomenal.
That's what's fun about it.
That's exciting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you get a little bit of everything. Yeah, some different worlds there.
We've seen everything from a $5,000 house, that's more or less falling apart, and then we've sold $1.2 million houses at auction.
Nice.
And everything in between. So
it's a big change in between.
Oh, trust me. It's and that's what's awesome about it. One day you're selling an investment property, the next you're selling a family home, and and everything in between. So
nice.
Awesome.
What's the website? Your guys' website?
AmlinAuctions.com.
AmlinAuctions.com.
Yep.
And so you can go on there and kind of check everything out.
So
that
all
you
of
guys
our
have,
auctions, all of our upcoming auctions are listed on there. We got the storage units and all that stuff, the personal property, the real estate, all that's on there.
Everything's on there. Okay. And then people can register right through that site?
They can register if they intend to bid online through that Simulcast platform. But if you're going to attend the auction, you can just register in person there.
Okay.
You just fill out a bidder registration form is what we call it. And that's just going to have your name, phone number, email address, and you sign to agree to the terms and conditions of the auction. So,
and then for anyone who's watching who is interested, you can also talk to your real estate agent, and they can actually sign you up and get everything done for you. You will have to check in when you arrive, but your real estate agent should be able to give you all the info or direct you to the same website where you can learn a little bit more about the terms and conditions, what you're getting into, so that you understand it before you walk in.
Definitely.
But you guys do a great job of
we try to make it as clear as we possibly can. And I mean, check out the website, click a couple of them, read the terms and conditions. It's once you go through it, it's really not as scary as a process as people think.
It's not bad at all. Is there anything else that you want to tell people about?
You just threw me a curveball.
Yeah.
I always say check it out. Come to one, see what it's like, experience it, because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Come to a storage unit auction. Come to bid on a personal property. Check them out. It's a fun process. It's a fun process.
I might do the storage one. I'm just dying to
come on out.
I'm dying to check that one out. So I'm gonna link all your information below. So the people that want to check out, go ahead and check out the website. I highly recommend, if you have any questions, reach out to your agent. Check out the website below. And I highly recommend just going to one of them. Check it out. It's not that big of a deal. All in all, if you're not doing the preview, if you're there mostly just to see how the thing works, you can get there about a half hour early.
Easy.
You can register, go through the auction, which is all of 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And you walk out with the knowledge, knowing what goes on, and it really takes a lot of the stress away. So I'll have everything linked below if you guys want to check it out. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a good one.